It was the middle of winter. It was dark. It was cold. And it was amazing because the moment that we stepped outside, literally walked out the door, his crying stopped immediately. His body relaxed, his breath slowed, and I could feel him just laying against me, just finally resting, relaxing. And I realized that it wasn't a coincidence that it happened. His nervous system knew exactly what it needed. Welcome to Nature to Nurture, the podcast where we talk about raising healthy families by returning to what has always supported children best: connection, community, and nature. I'm Tiffany, a mother of twins, an early childhood advocate, and a family and early childhood educator. This is a space where we focus on small, meaningful shifts, on connection over control, on rhythm over rigidity, and on presence over performance, so that families can feel more supported, grounded, and confident in the way that they're raising their children. As you listen today, I invite you to take this episode with you, step outside, go for a walk, breathe in some fresh air, and let this conversation meet you exactly where you are. Let's dive in. Real quick, before we begin, if these words are landing for you, go ahead and hit that follow button. It's the easiest way to make sure that you don't miss the small but powerful insights that support your children, yourself, and the way that you want to show up. When my son was an infant, 2 years old, he went through this stage of crying where nothing was soothing him. We tried everything: holding him, rocking him, singing, giving him food, milk, trading caregivers. No matter what we did, his body stayed tense, almost like he was in pain. His crying was just nonstop, like nothing would help. And this would go through the middle of the night, throughout the day. And one night when this happened, almost instinctively, I was like, okay, well, let's just go outside for a second and see what happens. Let's just step outside, get some fresh air. It was the middle of winter. It was dark. It was cold. And it was amazing because the moment that we stepped outside, literally walked out the door, his crying stopped immediately. His body relaxed, his breath slowed, and I could feel him just laying against me, just finally resting, relaxing. And I realized that it wasn't a coincidence that it happened. His nervous system knew exactly what it needed. That pattern repeated itself again and again. As he grew older, I noticed it when he had this high energy, when I thought he was a little out of control, or really overstimulated, emotionally stuck, feeling unsettled. If we went outside, like a switch, everything shifted. Sometimes it happened in really huge ways. Sometimes it did take him a little bit longer, but it always helps him to calm down, to come back to center. And even now, at 12 years old, I still see that it helps him. When he has 12-year-old emotions, when he's feeling off, even just going outside on the porch, catching a breath for a minute, watching the trees move in the wind, just doing this, it brings him back to where he needs to be, where he can think clearly. This has taught me something that I wish more parents were told early on. Emotional regulation, it doesn't start in the mind, talking to them, telling them it's not going to do anything. It starts in the body. And nature speaks directly to the body. When we step outside, we feel our body soften. It's not random, and it's not just emotional. It's biological. When we think about how humans used to live, they lived out in the natural world. They had open space around them, natural light, and predictable routines, rhythms, movement. They had fresh air. All of this signaled to the brain that they were not under immediate threat. When the brain receives that signal, it can shift out of this fight or flight, go, go, go. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises when your brain is perceiving urgency, danger, overload, something that is not keeping you safe. And indoor environments can actually keep cortisol elevated, whereas nature, it does the opposite. Natural light is slower sensory input, and it tells the brain that it is safe enough to soften, and cortisol levels then begin to drop. You might notice this if you are in a business building or in a school where you have those fluorescent lights on top of you going nonstop. Maybe you can see them flickering. That is increasing your cortisol. At the same time, nature is going to also support rhythm. When you see the trees moving, the sound of the wind, birds, even walking, moving your body in that rhythm, these patterns, they help to slow the heart rate and deepen your breath. This is actually activating not just your breath, but your vagus nerve. That's the nerve that's responsible for keeping your body calm and for supporting your regulation. When there's sensory overload, indoors, the brain is working super hard. It is filtering out the noise. It's managing this artificial light. It's tracking everything that the body is being demanded on. Whereas nature gives the brain what psychologists often call this softening, this soft fascination. Your brain gently engages without having to perform, without having to decide or respond. I love the example of listening to the birds outdoors. If that's your thing. I love birds, so this is definitely a beautiful thing for me, but just sitting out there, you hear them, you're listening, but you're not having to do anything. You're engaging that soft fascination. And with children, it works even faster. Their nervous systems are still developing and are far more sensitive to all of this input. So when they step outside, their body often responds immediately. Their heart rate slows down, their muscle tension relaxes, and their emotional intensity drops. That's why outdoor time can usually calm a child down when nothing else is working. It's not avoidance. It's not a treat to go outside. It's regulation. When emotions are high, skip trying to figure out what the problem is and solve it. Just take your child outside. Let their body settle first. Now that I've convinced you to go ahead outside and let the body settle first, let's talk a little bit about how outdoor play is actually reducing that overstimulation for the kids and for you. Indoor environments are overloading the nervous system. Again, there's noise from heaters and electricity and who knows what else is going on inside, contained inside, reflecting off the walls. The sound can sometimes be hard. Then there's the artificial light. Then there's all kinds of demands coming from everything that is maintained inside. There might be noises from other rooms that are demanding your attention. There might be mess that you see or things that you're tripping on. All of this is demanding you and is overloading your system. When you step outside and let your eyes land on something that isn't asking anything of you, a tree moving in the wind, or the light on the grass in front of you, clouds passing by, your brain doesn't have to decide. It doesn't have to respond. It doesn't have to fix anything. Just noticing is what researchers call attention restoration. But what it feels like is like your mind finally exhaling. As your eyes track slow, natural movements, your breathing naturally begins to slow too. Your heart rate follows, your shoulders soften, and that cortisol, it starts to decrease. Not because you tried to calm down, not because you were doing a meditation, but because your nervous system saw safety. And for your child, it happens even quicker. Their body regulates simply by being there. They don't need any instructions. You don't have to have a conversation. There are no expectations of what it looks like. They can simply just stand there, watching, listening, and moving however they feel. This is why 2 minutes matters. This is why those 5 minutes count. Time in nature is not just a strategy that I throw out there, but it actually removes the pressure that your nervous system has been under. So how you do it doesn't need to be complicated. It could be super simple. You could stand on the porch together. You could take a walk down the driveway. You could let your child kick some rocks while you take a breath. Watch the trees just before going back inside. This doesn't need to be a lesson. You're not trying to fix anything when you're doing these activities, when you're going outside, when you're looking at nature, when you're engaging with nature. You're just letting biology do exactly what it was designed to do. Give yourselves, give your child those small outdoor pauses. We're not falling behind. We're restoring capacity so that we can move forward. I want to say you can also do this even if you're not physically outside in nature, if it is cold, or even if you're in the car. That's one spot where we love to take our attention to shift it to nature, and it helps reset if we're having a hard time. So you could mention something about the way the sun is hitting the mountains. I know that's a great one for us right now with the snow freshly hitting those peaks. Or you could see if you can see how many bird nests you can see while you're driving. Shift that focus to nature. Spend a little time outside and let those natural rhythms restore you. I'm sure that most of you have heard this by now, and if you haven't, I wanted to know what rock you've been under, because I feel like everybody said this. But just a few minutes of outdoor sunlight in the morning when you wake up actually helps your clock, helps your body to say, hey, it's time to get up and it's time to get going. When your eyes take in that morning light, your brain is receiving a specific signal that it's learned over centuries that it is safe to start the day. That signal tells your body that you can lower the melatonin, the sleep hormone, and the natural cortisol rhythm that supports your steady energy begins. It helps you to balance your mood, and it helps you to start off regulated throughout the day. And this is why 5 minutes outside in the morning often feels better than just the coffee. It's not about having willpower. It's about your nervous system getting the information, the signals that it needs. Neuroscience and sleep research show us that 5 minutes to 10 minutes outdoors, even on cloudy days in the morning, helps to regulate your own circadian rhythm. That's your sleep rhythm, how your body naturally wants to go in and out of sleep. And it does it more effective than any indoor lights or screens. Your body knows the difference between real light and artificial light. And this matters even more as a parent. If adult systems respond so quickly to this brief little bit of sunlight exposure, I want to ask you, how much powerful is it for your kids whose nervous systems are still developing and taking in all of the senses? They are so much more sensitive to all of what the environment is sending their way. This is why stepping outside with them can shift their mood super quick. Their body is receiving the same signals that yours does. When we're safe, we can settle. You don't have to make this difficult. It can be really simple. It could be simply starting the morning, standing outside wrapped up in a blanket, or sitting on a chair outside wrapped up in a blanket with a nice cup of coffee or some hot tea for your kiddos, which they love. What a nice moment to just be together and connect and do it outdoors. Or stepping outside during an intense emotional moment. And it's not to fix the moment, but remember, it's to let your nervous system reset. Don't let those mornings go haywire. You don't have to make your time outside productive, although you can. I do have my kids do outside chores in the morning. That is a great way to make sure that they're getting a little bit more time outdoors before we start school. But you don't have to make it productive. Just be outdoors, right? You don't have to explain what you're doing. You don't have to explain to the kids, to yourself. Just make it part of your rhythm and let biology do the work that it knows how to do. It's not another thing that you have to add. It's just a great way for you to support yourself and your family with less effort, with less do, and more trust with who you are, with how your bodies are made. Before we end today, I want to make sure that you are hearing this clearly. You are not broken, and your child is not broken. Emotional regulation isn't something you force or you fix in one single moment. It's something that you support slowly, gently, by helping the body to feel safe enough to relax and to just be. What we talked about today is very simple, but it's powerful. Outdoor time helps the nervous system to calm down first. Before words, before discipline, before problem solving, regulation has to start in the body. And nature reduces that overstimulation, that emotional overload, and it gives both you and your child a pause from the noise, from the pressure, and all of the input, so that there's more capacity, more availability when you guys come back, reconnect, and even the smallest little moments make a huge difference. It could be a minute on the porch, taking a breath. It could be 5 minutes in the yard, listening to the birds. Or it could be that morning cup on the porch with the kids, watching the sunrise. Those moments of fresh air and sunlight, they help us to regulate our emotional rhythm for everyone without you having to do more. So if today feels heavy, let this be enough. One small step outside, one pause, one breath, 5 minutes counts, 1 minute counts. And if you're trying, especially on the hard days, you're already doing more than you think. Thank you so much for joining me today on Nature to Nurture. I really do hope that each of these conversations help you feel more supported and understood on your parenting or caregiving journey. And if you found value in today's episodes, please don't forget to follow the podcast and hop on over into our free community on Facebook, where we continue to share mini moments, wise words, and genuine support. As we wrap up, I'll leave you with this. Just remember, even on the hardest days, that a small moment of connection can make all of the difference for your child and for you. Until next time, take care, and I'm here with you every step of the way.